All right, good afternoon, everybody. Hope to have a great afternoon just as much as we've had a great morning here across the Cybergroup trading room. And welcome on aboard for everybody streaming across social media here for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. Markets are pushing up heading into the afternoon. News came out shortly after 2 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll get into that in a moment. Great to see everybody in our trading room, though. John, Lawrence, Pat, Michael, Dom, Kathleen, Ben, Jim, Jean. I think I got everybody there. Bonnie up top before. I just saw her too from before here too. And like I said, streaming across social media. Welcome on aboard, everybody from Facebook Live and YouTube. So, with that in mind, I want to jump right into it, guys. For all of our students here inside our trading room, we do have class coming up this afternoon. That being Phase 1, Lesson number 2. So we started the Phase 1 course curriculum again this morning, guys. Fausto brought that up earlier during the morning meeting. So for this month in June, really the 4 lessons, 3 out of the 4 lessons for the Phase 1 course, we're going to be talking all about charting, everything that you would need to know about basic support, resistance, basic charting principles. This afternoon, we'll be discussing the trend. The trend is your friend, simply put. So, we have a lot to dig into with that in mind. So what we'll do is dive right into the picks. As you can see, the market's been pushing up. We had some news come out going into the afternoon. So I'll read that here to begin, but we'll jump through the percent gainers and losers list right after. So, guys, right after 2 o'clock, news came out. It was in relation to the Fed, saying that the Fed will look to create market index for secondary market corporate credit facility. Will be made up of all bonds and secondary market issued by U.S. companies, basically trying to help out liquidity. So we ended up seeing a nice boost in the market going into the afternoon. I'll post what I just wrote or read just in the chat board here. So let's go through the percent gainers and losers, guys. We had a nice pop across the side list stocks. Side list stocks were doing great today. To be honest, before the news came out, I wasn't really expecting the markets to be as strong as they were heading into lunchtime. So with the boost up, we saw even further traction across the market. So we'll get to those in a moment. Let's just start going right from top to bottom, building up our list. Like I'd said, guys, for all of us joining late across the meeting here, we do have class coming up this afternoon. So we're kind of doing a lightning round edition here of our afternoon meeting. So UONE. Urban One, top percent gainer right now. I didn't look at the stock until right this very moment, guys. I mean, I classed pretty much smack in the middle of this, but even after that point, it started pulling back down. We weren't able to short it. So right now, it's building up some support. I mean, that does interest me. For a stock that made such a big move up once earlier today, I wouldn't expect for it to make a second crazy big move, much like it made from earlier. So, we'll put this on the side. UONE. I do like the bottom it's built, but I wouldn't expect as much else from this point forward. All right, EDSA, I hate to say I told you so. Let me get the pre-market settings back up. EDSA was our top percent gainer earlier today, going into the pre-market, leading into the market open. For a stock that made as big of a move as this made, in the pre-market, you would expect a pullback at 9:30, and that's what we ended up getting. But we ended up seeing a nice rally afterwards. It built support off of 6, blasted through resistance off of 7 and 750 at the time. 2 bigger orders on the ask at the time from level 3. Ended up making this big exponential squeeze up, but unfortunately, what goes up does come back down, and usually twice as fast. So, this thing's been pulling back across the day, but at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if it ends up dropping all the way back down towards where it had started the gap, or the early pre-market run up, at least earlier on this morning. So this EDSA trade, we're going to pass on. This NETE trade, same thing, I'd say, ended up popping kind of smack during the morning meeting when Fausto first started right at 9 o'clock, ended up making this huge breakout. So kind of similar result, ended up dumping off once the market opened up. We were looking at this as a small little bounce point here off of 8. I was saying that just before in the chat board. And at the time, ended up doing that. Made a nice little squeeze up to 9. I held on at the first little break up here. I wanted a lot more, and then kind of I realized here was making a lower high. I got out at 895, and this thing's been on a crash course down right now. So this thing again, kind of similar to the UONE trade, we're going to pass for the afternoon. Wouldn't surprise me if it just closes much lower. Probably the same with this one. HGSH popped shortly after the I guess this was dumping off much before going into the open, rather. Ended up popping thereafter, but then dumped back down. So you guys see it there too. Got to be quick on these trades in and out. We're not trying to hold on all throughout the day and let alone hold overnight. It's the last thing that we would do. Man, a lot of cheapies on the gainer side at this point, guys. I mean, the market was pushing up nicely. That doesn't mean we're going to have stocks up, from the side list up 20, 30%. Got a few that are up decent. We'll get to those in a moment. NH made a nice little recent run up here from essentially 4 breakout point, ended up moving up towards 5. I feel like this BIOC trade's been pushing up all throughout the day today. Shortly after the market opened up, broke out. Then, of course, as you guys could see here, leading into the early afternoon, broke a new high off 73 cents. And, right now, next resistance ahead on this trade, although it broke above it earlier, but 75 cents would be the real level to watch here on this trade. We have nothing on our list so far, guys. I've said 1 or 2 stocks on the side list, but as I've been quickly going through the top part of the gainers list, there are 0 stocks that have made the cut so far. So, just trying to be as picky as possible here. JFIN ended up making a little bit of a squeeze up earlier. We've seen the stock make this exact type of move down before, unfortunately. Pump and dump, so to say, and a little bit of a squeeze back up for the meantime here, but again, kind of same thing just before the others. I'll pass. GSX ran earlier today, a little more expensive. It's pushing back up off 52. For right now, I wouldn't mind putting this just on our list, although a little pricier, but GSX is one that some of us in the trading room are familiar with, ended up making this big run up earlier today. It's not to say I'm expecting a big move up going into the close. It's holding support nicely here, but it has the range to work with either way as a long or a short given the price. So, it's I'm not in love with it, but for right now, it's a stock that we could day trade, right? It's one that we could try and follow up or down at least. Ben just closed out a trade on the GSX just a second ago. He posted here in the chat board. This VBIV trade looks interesting. Cheap, slow, and steady. So it's more of like a level 1 stock, level 1 to 2 maybe. It is shortable. So if it goes the complete other way and dumps off going into the close, it actually would be a pretty good short opportunity given how much it's up right now. But otherwise, for right now, we respect the trend. And we'll go through that in class coming up later on this afternoon, guys. Talk about how to identify when a stock's breaking its current uptrend or beginning to set itself up for a new opportunity for reversal. So VBIV at least is shortable. If it ends up doing just that, it would be a decent opportunity to short. I wouldn't mind focusing on this for right now. This AR trade, little pop recently here shortly before 2 o'clock. It's near the highs. I do like that. I'll come back to this at the very end. Wouldn't be surprised if I put this one on. Let's go to my baby, DGLY. How's this one doing? Not really doing too much. Just because I like the stock doesn't mean I'm going to put it on the list. I love following DGLY for potential breakouts. A ton of volume got filled earlier, so that piqued my interest. I was going to put this on our list, but it really hasn't done much since that point. So, I'm thinking maybe a pullback to 5 and maybe a bounce back out from there, but again, I'm not going to put this on our main list as well. All right. Bonnie just said AM worth watching. That was next up here on the gainers list. And yeah, definitely. Antero midstream. Is this in the same as AR? Yeah, the Antero. They're both Antero stock. Antero Midstream Corp. Antero Resources. This one's looking steadier, Bonnie. AM and shortable too if it goes the other way, but we're following this trend all the way up here. So yeah, nice call. AM, definitely. Just go through the rest of the gainers list, guys. We'll go through the losers list, go through the rest of the chat board across the trading room, across social media. We'll finish up. All right. Mankind, MNKD. Let's see. One of Fausto's favorite stocks, at least when it's moving. It's not, he follows us every day, but when it's making a nice run up, more volatile move, he'll focus on it. Nice steady trend up here, at least today. Moving with the market, all the other stocks moving up nicely here this morning. Neo is definitely making our list. I'm surprised that it's already up to 7, or not already, but I'm surprised it's made this steady of a trend across the day today, guys. Neo. Oh man, I messed this trade up so bad. And one of our students, we were talking about this through private chat in our trading room just before. I had an entry point on Neo earlier today at $6. Got 13 cents on the trade. All right. Can't complain about 13 cents, $130. Not bad. But you look at where the stock is now, and of course, there's always possibilities to re-enter the trade. But after class ended at around like 11:30 Eastern time, we came back, saw NEO was at like 670, and I thought at that point it would have stopped and we would have seen this thing slow down, but I guess not. Man, this thing's on fire today. So huge resistance at 7. Let's take a look on the daily chart here. 695 last week's high. It's right there. So yeah, NEO. Easily going to put this on the top of our list. Good call from Jeff in the chat board here. All right. Let's see. Maybe one or two more. But I think that's on the gainer side for right now. It's WKHS, little spotty chart. All right, we'll hop over to the loser side here, guys. Bunch of crap hard to borrow. Really. PYX. This thing's been halted since like 7 o'clock this morning, if I'm not mistaken. 640. Exactly. Last print on the tape. But I remember seeing from Benzinga Pro that PYX was halted off news. And I mean, the fact it was only trading 18,000 shares at this point in the day led me to believe that it was still halted. You go to it. And, well, of course, time and sales not moving right now, still halted. So I have no idea what happened to this PYX stock, guys. Obviously not looking too good. Maybe tomorrow, maybe later, if it ever reopens, this could be a potential, dead cat bounce opportunity. But yeah, for right now, we'll see what happens. Maybe just whenever this reopens. Jack Classic, what goes up comes back down, or what makes top percent gainers list makes percent losers list. Let's see, everything else hard to borrow. So I think that pretty much does it. Yeah, that's it, guys. I really no familiar names on the losers list, and I'm not saying that just to be lazy here. But if there's anything that's down that's looking good, let me know. But I mean, I could just do a quick run through right from the eye here, and nothing really comes to mind. Run a quick scan otherwise. So we'll come to the chat board here and got UONE from Ben and from Dom here. So we got 4 stocks on the list so far. That's it. Yes, UONE, and try saying that 3 times fast. UONE, pushing back up here. So yeah, this one will make the cut now. That was on the side, so we would get back to that anyway, but pushing up nicely at this point, so definitely will make the final list. John C. saying Oxy. Yeah, Oxy was pushing up really nicely earlier today, John. Definitely a great stock to keep a good eye on. If you made money on Oxy earlier today, you better believe you should be following it going into the afternoon. It is shortable. It's up big. So, a great stock to keep in mind if you made money on it. I mean, it's kind of the same thing as NCLH, which we'll get to, and all the other side list stocks for that matter. NCLH is a little bit choppy around the 20 level, but same rules apply. Great push up earlier today. You guys know my thoughts on NCLH and all of the others, Oxy and John. Alongside Oxy, you got APA as well, Apache Corp. This one moves in fairly similar direction with Oxy. You got the gaming stocks. MGM was making a nice push earlier today. That one's kind of flattened out a little bit underneath the highs. Penn National Gaming, kind of same thing. All right. So, hey, with the market moving up very nicely going into the mid-afternoon, guys, I would say, just like I told John, if there are stocks that you made money on earlier today that moved with the market generally that we tend to call out frequently in this room, the airlines, the cruise lines, the entertainment stocks, even like Dave & Buster's here, Play, this actually looks like a pretty good setup here underneath 1720. But again, even Play, some of these side list stocks, if you made money on earlier today, then, try and focus on those if there's really nothing up to your liking from this list going into the afternoon. It says Bank of America also. Yeah, same thing. Bank of America, we put on our watch list, I think it was last week. Yeah, huge gap down. You could see from the daily chart. So I think it was Thursday of last week in the morning. We had Bank of America on the main watch list. And hey, if you did well on it, making a nice run up to 25. So good call. All right. So in total, we got 2, 4, 5. That's all I got for you guys going into the afternoon. We'll take it though. We had a pretty interesting morning, pretty good morning nonetheless, with NEO, with GNUS, with DGLY. Those stocks aren't making the afternoon list. I think NEO is at least. But aside from this list, at around 3:15, 3:30 Eastern time, we'll look to rescan the market a bit more seriously if there are any stocks that are moving better with the market. If the market's moving even higher going into the close, it would be a great opportunity to follow stocks that move with, well, the market. All right, guys, aside from that, I know that most of us, though, will be in class this afternoon, those of us at least in the trading room. Phase 1, Lesson 2 lined up this afternoon at 3:05 Eastern Time. For anybody streaming across social media, for anybody in our trading room looking to learn more about the Phase 1 stock course or anything else that we offer here at CTU, feel more than free to call the phone number down below on the banner. That goes for social media. Anybody here in the trading room, just feel free to message myself, Fausto, your education advisor. We'll give you more detail. All right, guys, I'll post and tweet the list, and I'll post and tweet the link shortly after here in the trading room. Aside from that, let's try and make some money together going into the end of this Monday. Take care.